people ask me to get into the whole Witcher situation. This is a fan-requested one. I don't know who Nerdrotic is, but a lot of people told me to look into the whole Witcher stuff, and they said it's up my alley because, listen, I have a very love-hate relationship with studios f***ing up. On the one hand, how could they f*** up this fantastic thing that I liked so much? On the other hand, I love to laugh at them and watch them fail and implode. Watching big studios make terrible f***ups and implode. Oh, it's my favorite thing in the world! Alright, let's get into the Witcher drama. I don't know the whole situation in depth. Let's jump right into it, dick fast. And for me personally, since I thought that the Witcher show was kind of mid, I'm more than happy to watch a big studio, like, implode because of it.
Nerderotic.com.
Greetings, you over 786,000 practitioners of common sense and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet.
That's how you start a video. Guys, if you're not subscribed to me, what is wrong with you? I post 2 videos a day on Nuxanor. Nuxanor is the greatest channel in all of YouTube. I do everything.
I want you to look for a lot of I told you so's and
Fuck you, I was right. Fuck you, I was right.
over the next year. Currently, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dysentery is the flop heard round the world.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
And
rough pill to swallow.
it is competing with the
Flash! Microwave, baby! Microwave, baby!
Flash to become the biggest bomb of the year.
Yeah!
And it is certainly the biggest financial disaster in Lucasfilm's history, or in this case, I should say, herstory.
I have some major
Oh, he's one of those. Yes.
problems with this movie. One of the problems I have with the movie is that
The women just aren't perfect enough.
Phoebe's character was an asshole.
Wow.
And that's a good
Damn,
thing
that's rough, buddy.
for Netflix because fewer people have noticed, A, The Witcher Season 3 even came out, and
You want to hear a controversial take? People don't actually hate strong female characters. They just hate terrible character writing. Now that's a hot take for y'all.
B, that it's abysmal. A while back, I made a video called The Witcher is Doomed, one that was covered by Asmongold. Thanks, dude. Well, here we are 7 short months later, and the beginning of the end is here.
The chat says
It's
that
coming.
he's leaving because he doesn't agree with the storylines that the writers have been developing.
Yeah, but you can't trust freaking journalists for shit. Every time I see a journalist speak, I'm just like, I am going to shit yourself.
I can completely understand that because Henry is such a huge fan of the games and the books, and the writers on the Netflix series have chosen
The writers of the Netflix series just want to see that green. They want to see those shekels going in. Oh god, I'm gonna get canceled for that. Jewish disclaimer. I'm allowed to make that joke.
for whatever reason they did so to deviate quite severely from the books and the games. I personally don't understand the choice.
Now, all of this could have been avoided if you listen to the fans, just like with Kathleen Kennedy over at Lucasfilm.
Wait a second. So you mean the people that are just doing this for the money and not for the sake of anything else aren't making the best decisions for the fans? What?
If you had listened to the fans, you had multiple times to fire her. After The Last Jedi, after Solo, after The Rise of Skywalker, after she fired Gina Carano. But beyond all rational explanation, she is still in charge, and look where it's gotten them. We've also seen this with Chris Chibnall and the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker. Those two were only shown the door after the show had completely cratered. Same goes for Alex Kurtzman, who's been killing Star Trek now for years. Yes, he did have a recent success with Picard Season 3 one he had nothing to do with, but now he's gone right back to killing Star Trek, and now 2 of his shows have been canceled with more to come.
Oh my god, all these guys are dying. I'm loving this.
This kid's got to go back to preschool.
Michelle Yeoh is set to star in her own Star Trek movie.
Oh, that's never good.
Brent.
And now
God damn it, that's so rough, buddy. Dude, what can I say? I just made a video talking about how Has-Been Hotel is murdering modern animation. It is so nice watching this era of downfalls, because for the longest time they were churning out this mediocre stuff that just had the superhero tagline on it or just one of those big brands, and they would make a ton of money off it. So, you know, no lesson is learned from success. Finally, they are failing. Oh, I usher in this new era.
Netflix is doing the same thing. The second Henry Cavill started having a problem with Lauren Schmidt Histridge's writing, she and her entire staff should have been gone. Admittedly, despite it having problems,
Dude, he is actually such a good Witcher. Like, he carries the entire show.
I did like season 1. Gave it a 7 out of 10, but this is the
Yeah, I would give it a 7 out of 10 also, which I would say is on the good side of mid.
portion of the video where I get some I told you so's.
I told you so. I told you.
I earned that. Despite my age, I'm still capable of being a sweet summer child. Now let's do a brief recap of The Witcher's road to failure. After a very successful...
Let's go! Road to failure, road to failure, road to failure. I just like watching big things crumble. You know the excitement when you're a kid and you just see a big thing crumble? Oh, that's me. That's me. Just on $1 billion scale.
Season 1 where Netflix thought they had their Game of Thrones, we started hearing some concerning comments from Henry Cavill.
With the shift of the showrunner's vision, where it's an ensemble cast more so than a singular lead, and the perspectives is shifted to be almost more of a Cirilla Yennefer perspective.
Yeah, I actually noticed that also. I felt like it would have been much better if they would have adhered to the more game-like linear storytelling, just kind of his perspective, instead of trying to make it Game of Thrones, which it clearly isn't. Because none of the characters are smart enough, or likable enough, or have good enough dialogue, or interesting enough backstories, or fantastic enough future, or risk to their character whatsoever. No one even minorly important actually dies. This will never be Game of Thrones. People need to stop seeing Game of Thrones success and be like, I could do that.
And so it's about finding my character's place within that vision and making sure that I do everything I can to be as faithful to the source material as possible within the structure set out for me.
That was Henry trying to temper our expectations, and that's a good thing because then season 2 came out and they absolutely butchered the book Blood of Elves. After Lauren Schmidt-Hissrich completely ignored the fan complaints of there not being enough Witcher in The Witcher, she decided...
True! Yeah, my biggest complaint about this thing is that the title of the movie is actually only true about 40% of the time.
...to put less Witcher in The Witcher for season 2. Then we heard from former Witcher writer Beau DeMayo that writers on the show were openly mocking the source material. Then, on October 13th of 2000...
Man, I'm so excited for the One Piece live-action remake. I'm hoping that we don't actually see much of the Straw Hats, though. Those guys kind of suck. I hope that it all takes the perspective of Bon Clay. Bon Clay's adventure to Pirate King.
2022, Henry Cavill announced he was leaving The Witcher, and it all gets worse. Shortly after that, a petition was started with over 300,000 signatures. Netflix, you must keep Henry Cavill as The Witcher and replace the writers instead. Then after that, we started to understand why Henry not only left, he ran. Blood Origin was released with a whopping 13%.
Fans chat, but Nux came. Yes! Yes! The end is near!
On Rotten Tomatoes and a 1.4 user score on Metacritic, making a pretty good case of being worst fantasy series in a year that Willow and the Rings of Power came out.
What a glorious world.
But that was just a taste. What did Lauren Hissrich and her patriarchy smashing writing team have up their sleeves next? This brings us to The Witcher Season 3.
Yes, the legendary shit emblem, representative of so much.
First off, props to Henry Cavill for being a true professional. Part of being
the guy didn't go out there just shitting on it. Like, I have nothing but respect for the way he acted through all this.
A professional is showing restraint, and I'm sure the first time he saw that script, he wanted to set it on fire and tell him to piss off. In season 3, just like in season 2 and actually season 1, everyone's after Ciri. As the synopsis goes, as monarchs, mages, and beasts of the continent compete to capture her, Geralt takes Ciri of Sintra into hiding, determined to protect his newly reunited family against those who threaten to destroy it. Season 3 is based on the book A Time for Contempt, which is appropriate because Lauren Hissrich has obvious contempt for The Witcher and men in general. At this point, you should just call the show The Witch Her, because this is...
All right, dude, stick to culture criticism. Let's stay away from the weird puns.
Clearly the Yennefer show, and it always has been. One more time, as
I told you so.
Yennefer, Ciri, and their sidekick Geralt are all together again, except...
Why would you say it that way? Why would you say that? No, not the sidekick. No.
There's a little problem. I seem to recall last season that Yennefer betrayed both Geralt and Ciri.
Oh, yeah,
and then Yennefer goes so far as to try to sacrifice Ciri to get her magic back. But
Yep,
apparently Ciri and Yennefer worked it out before the season started. And
oh, you mean all the drama and conflict that was built up for the entire season was solved off screen?
it only takes a couple episodes for Geralt to forgive Yennefer. But why take the time to have Yennefer authentically redeem herself after, quite frankly, butchering her character last season when you could just blow past it and get back to girlbossing? Anya Chalotra as Yennefer and Freya Allan as Ciri are fine, but they're given nothing to work with this season. Just like last season, and I know this comes from the books. But Ciri is just a girl who's the key to everything. That might have been new at one time, but it's not now. It's just a tired old trope.
But you see, at least if they would make The Witcher what The Witcher was about, you know? The Witcher just being an absolute badass. That would be sick. Yes, I understand if the overall plot just follows, you know, how Ciri is supposed to get captured and she's the key to everything and that's the whole plot. Fine. Fine. I'm totally cool with all that shiz. Right? Whatever. That's the plot. I'm not gonna complain. But if you made the focus of the episodes Geralt becoming an infamous demon hunter, right? Instead of focusing on like terrible politics and contrived character interactions, I feel like it would have just been so much better.
And Yasker is back to sing another song for Dan Vast to cover. And just in case you haven't heard, Yasker's totally bi now because Netflix has been pretty subtle about it. And Yasker spent...
I think he's maybe the second best character in the show after The Witcher. That guy's funny as hell. He's so annoying, and I love annoying characters because they're relatable. Not because I'm annoying. Oh, maybe that is why they're relatable.
most of his time in a will gay, won't gay with Prince Radovid.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
No! What is this? Yeah, there we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Then there's our list of
everything happened.
Girl bosses. There's the good girl boss, Tisea, the bad girl boss, Philippa.
What is that Goku haircut?
The dumb girl boss and elf, Francesca. The former girl boss, Fringilla, who's put on some COVID weight. Body positivity girl boss, Margarita. And Ava, who's technically a they-them boss. And a whole host of other characters, including Triss, Istrid, and Gahir. And I can tell you right now, I don't care about any of them. Not enough to even tell you what happens. Sure, there's a couple of decent moments with Lars Mikkelsen's Stregobor or Graham McTavish's Dijkstra, but they are fleeting. And brief moments do not make a show good. And I don't even know what the point was to bring in Emperor Amir to just do his best Cersei Lannister impression.
When you have finished this mission, we shall have everything that we want.
Ah! The palpable cringe. The palpable cringe. Oh.
And Bart Edwards is too young. He looks like Ciri's older brother, not her father. And this brings us to the show's titular character, The Witcher, Geralt of Rivia, played by Henry Cavill, who's just an afterthought. We're told that this season is far more book accurate, I guess, except for when it isn't. Our boy...
So, my favorite part about the Witcher adaptation is that it's very book accurate, except for this one thing that they don't really do, and that's the Witcher part of it.
Geralt is done dirty again. He's more babysitter than protector, and he goes on more inane side quests that didn't happen in the book, including one where he finds a fake Ciri and has to fight a fleshy girl bits monster, whose heads are hanging off the wall and look suspiciously like testicles.
I told you so.
Now, this is the only monster he fights alone. He gets help from Ciri on the other two, and of course, she gets the kill on the final one. But why see Geralt of Rivia slay monsters when you can see him sitting around and talking to Yasker, sitting next to beds, and crying for his mama? As you may or may not know, Netflix cut this season in half to try to milk Henry Cavill, for lack of a better description, for all he's worth.
That's nice. He has some nice tits on him, so I wouldn't complain about that.
And if you don't think Netflix is keenly aware that their show is dead, I give you this from Forbes. Netflix throws Liam Hemsworth under the bus in a desperate marketing bid for The Witcher Season 3. And here's the tweet from The Witcher.
What?
Just in case you need a reminder, yes, he's still Geralt in Season 3.
They know! They know, bro!
Ouch. And where does Lauren Hisrich decide to end this first part of the season? With a ball.
Ha! Gay!
Which is strange because this show has no balls. And it doesn't end.
Yeah, this dude's puns are just...
There. This also happens to be the worst episode.
This was actually, by the way, I'm just saying, as far as like all the culture critic people that cover like relevant stuff. This guy did a really good job, this nerdrotic fellow.
Of the worst season. The episode is mostly told in flashback with multiple repeated scenes, and the big twist is we're not seeing different perspectives, we're simply seeing different angles. I'm not doing this awful writing justice. Again, we see the same scenes twice, we hear the same dialogue twice, just from a different angle. Episode 5 was called The Art of Illusion, and if you weren't sure all is not what it seems, they had some bards singing All Is Not What It Seems
they really tried to make a red wedding
over and over again.
Because that's not epic foreshadowing. Oh my god, dude.
Looks like Lauren Hisrich went to the Ryan Johnson School of Dumb Filmmaking, meant to make you believe it's smart. And I know the costuming and the sets have never been spectacular in The Witcher, but it has devolved to being indiscernible from things like Willow, The Wheel of Time, and The Rings of Power. And things like time and distance are completely thrown out the window this season. You have no idea where you are. You have no idea how long anything takes. We know these events—
traversing through the random winter landscape. The random seacoast landscape now. Through the forest landscape.
Take over weeks and months, but in the show it feels like a couple of days. Put simply, this show is dumb. Tell me, why would you drop off all of your things on the top of a cliff when you have to climb down to catch a ferry? How does a peasant get such expensive, modern-looking hair?
That's racist!
Why did a monster decide not to eat the diverse cast members?
That's racist!
Why do all the mages who we are told are beautiful in the books look like they work for the Netflix marketing department?
That's racist!
And how much was the budget cut for this season? The CG largely was laughably bad, including this Ciri horse riding scene. This is where we get to see the Wild Hunt, and if you watch Blood Origin, which the vast majority of you didn't, you would know that the mighty and formidable King Aradin is actually just a wafy guy who's mad because his boyfriend died. When the show isn't a bit
twink death at its finest.
Abysmal, it's incredibly boring, and it's pretty clear Henry Cavill made the right decision. And it looks like the people agree because it is getting destroyed. Thomas S., 1 star. Started off okay, not really, but pacing was strange. Yes, it was. Characters' traveling speed made no sense. Hard to figure out where scenes were taking place, and so much side character nonsense that just drags on for no reason. But honestly, watching the last episode, 5, was one of the most painful, difficult things
poor guy.
I have
This is obviously
watched.
someone that really loves the franchise, and I wanted to see this, and then this happened. Reminds me of Game of Thrones last season. True, Kathy. We were making a lot of Game of Thrones references.
In a while. A shitty song played over and over again as dialogue and scenes are repeated again and again, all for a reveal we already knew since like season 1. Josh A., half star, just a teenage love drama, barely made it through the first couple of episodes but decided to reluctantly chug on. To my dismay, the last episode was the worst of them all.
Oh, good stuff, good stuff. Dude, you want to know how to make a teenage love drama in like one of these beloved old franchises? Look no further than My Adventures with Superman. It's an animated show going out right now. Maybe we'll watch another episode today on stream, but I already covered the first episode on Nuxanor, and frankly, that's just wholesome. You know, it's just really wholesome and cute and stuff. But that's because that's exactly what they made it to be. They're not trying to make it an epic, you know, twist, drama, life-threatening story. It's about the character drama, which is what makes it so cute. And it's episodic, and it's not contrived.
Ion G, half star. Season 3 is more accurate to the books, meaning random Easter eggs from the books without context, and the meaning changed so much that it makes no sense. They ruined impactful scenes from the books just to put them in this rotten show. Bad, cringe characters are not even book accurate, and I think he meant to say, neither are the monsters. This seems like bad fan fiction. Let me play devil's advocate. Maybe Lauren Hisrich and her team of writers didn't adapt the books properly because they wanted to play to their strengths. The only problem with that argument is, as writers,
they have no strengths.
They don't have any strengths. And it's become abundantly clear Lauren and her team can't write men. But to be fair, they're only slightly worse at that than writing women. I'll remind you.
Damn, that's a rough pill to swallow, I guess.
That we are going into the 3rd month of the writer's strike. And I would also like to mention that I've spent the last couple of weeks watching things like Strange New Worlds, The Flash, Secret Invasion, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dysentery, and now The Witcher Season 3. And I'm just gonna say, you're not making a good case for yourself. Go ahead, stay on strike. I don't even care what happens in the second half. The Witcher Season 3 is awful, and this show is dead. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you for listening this long. I will see you in the next video.
Definitely great video and breakdown on the whole Witcher situation. I appreciated this video. And yeah, if you want me to keep covering more of Nerdrotic things, definitely feel free to ask, because I liked his video. I think he did a good job, and I'm down to watch more. 10,000 likes, and I'll watch another one.
Like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. Stay weird, fam.